Alright, everybody. We've got a new Angry Chud video to watch, and this one looks like it got pretty heavily ratioed, actually. Like, the likes and the comments are almost as many as the likes, and the likes are not very high to begin with, nor really are the views for this particular channel. I assume you guys are familiar with Shadiversity? He's since quit that YouTube channel because YouTube, like, kinda killed it, I guess. However, it might not have just been YouTube, because he might just really be losing his core audience and might not be that good at, like, the Chud grift, because he's made a new channel called Night's Watch, and while it is at 161k subs, he's made 635 videos on it, and the videos aren't doing particularly well compared to the, like, near million sub channel he had before. So, it really does seem like he's completely fallen off, and since then, like, he's at the point where he uses himself angrily screaming because he's triggered in his own thumbnails, because, like, multiple times, so it really doesn't seem like he's got much of a future in front of him, you know? It looks like he's kind of falling off. Notice how every video that's not hate bait does worse than the videos that are hate bait? Like, the only videos that are doing well are videos talking about, like, how things have gone woke. And even those videos aren't doing particularly well, you know? But recently he made a video called "It's Good Because Animals Do It." And yes, he made this video because he was upset about Pride Month. And this is indeed him arguing why it is bad to be gay, and apparently debunking the argument that being gay is natural because you can witness it in nature. So he's just full on, I think, like, doing the anti-gay stuff. I had this sent to me, people requested I cover it. I haven't seen it yet, but that's what I put together based on the thumbnail and the title. Let's check it out! Let's see what he's talking about. Is this guy being a goofy goober, or is he gonna end up blowing my mind and proving to me that being gay is in fact cringe and gay? Well, my first bit of advice would be shorten that intro, buddy.
Welcome back to The Watch, and Oz, did you know the animals are gay?
Oh my gosh, wait, is he... He's so desperate to spice up his content, and he's so incapable of providing entertainment value on his own, that he now has a co-host on his new channel to, like, help him make the videos somewhat more watchable? Ugh. Man, this guy is falling off. I do like those, like, what, 3D printed swords in the background? They look pretty cool.
The frogs are. What are they doing to the rest of them?
No. So there is a new documentary coming out on Peacock, which don't know why that sounds appropriate.
There's a gay documentary coming out on Peacock.
There is, right? And it's about homosexuality in the animal kingdom. And
so we're already at, like, we're already at, like, 5-year-old humor here, like 5th grade humor, 4th grade humor. Now, can I just say something really fast? When you say gay, at least in my mind, when I say gay, I mean that in the most umbrella term possible, like a one-syllable synonym for LGBT. Obviously, it synonymously means, like when guys are gay specifically, but people also say women are gay, right? Like, there'll be, like, a lesbian couple in a show, and people on Twitter will be like, oh my god, they're gay, right? So the term gay definitely at least refers to a broad variety of non-straight sexuality. Don't you think it's interesting that the majority of male homophobes, when they hear about, like, anything to do with, like, gayness, they immediately think cock and gay anal sex between two men? Because, like, gay could be referring to lesbians. Like, if you're a straight guy, presumably you hear gay, you would immediately think some two women, like, making out or something, right? That would be the straightest thing to think of. But these guys immediately think cock and start joking about cock. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Found this just so bafflingly bizarre that they would use this and frame it in such a way to try and say homosexuality everyone. It's just a normal thing in the animal kingdom. Animals do it, so therefore it's normal for humans to do it. And I was
Yeah? Is this guy a creationist? Because humans are animals. He's aware of that, right? They're like, humans are animals. We're actually literally part of the sapien family. We're literally part of the great ape family. Like, he's a Mormon. Oh, so he's actually a religious psycho. Okay.
like, well, hang on. Are you really using that framing to try and justify a practice that humans do because animals do it? Do they have any?
Is a conservative actually arguing against the idea of a naturalistic argument? So, for those that are unaware, for like decades, the right-wing argument, like decades upon decades, was that there were no gay animals, that gayness was only done by humans, so an intelligent human would have to make the lifestyle choice to be gay, and thus it's unnatural, right? The argument was always, it's unnatural. And so that documentary and the whole premise of it is very evidently disproving that conservative argument that has been popular for decades on decades. The argument that being gay is unnatural. The natural response being, well, hey, if your argument is that being gay is unnatural, and that's why it's bad, and the reason you think it's unnatural is because it's not a thing that anyone but humans do, well, here's it existing in nature among animals, creatures that are not intelligent enough to make the decision to go about a life choice, quote unquote, that goes against their natural inclinations and their instincts. So clearly, there is something internal, biological, and innate about sexuality that, or at least some sexuality, that allows for gayness to exist. It is, in fact, natural. Quite literally, we witness it in the natural world. So he's now going to, like, this, to give you an idea of what's happening here. Now, granted, I don't know if he's ever made this argument, but let me give you a breakdown of what the like line of argument, the goalpost moving that the right-wing position is taking here with this guy's video. So, for decades, the right argues that being gay is bad because it's unnatural and you can't witness it in the natural world. And then scientists and biologists end up discovering countless species engaging in asexual reproduction, sexual, literally transing their sex in order to reproduce. Tons of animals do that. Frogs can obviously change their sex. You've got gayness, like actual gay animals in nature, like mammals, notably engaging in gay sex. A lot of great apes, in fact, engage in gay sex. I think it's bonobos? It's not orangutans. Is it bonobos that are the ones that literally just fuck in order to solve all their problems? Like the really gay, horny ones? The bonobos, am I right? Yeah, bonobos are really gay and really horny. They don't fight, generally. When they have a problem, even between males or females, they just have sex. And they get rid of the tension that way. So we've witnessed all these things. We now know, okay, so being gay is natural. It exists in nature. And so the response to the gay is bad because unnatural thing is, well, it's natural. So thus, it's not bad, right? Now their goalpost moving position is, oh, DreamWorks smile. So you supposedly anti-homophobes are now comparing being gay to the behavior of literal animals? Wow. So who's the real homophobes? And that's the line that he's about to go with right now.
Any idea what animals also do?
Yeah.
Yep, there you go.
They eat their own young!
Yeah. Oh, but gays don't.
No, they don't.
And he's looking at the camera like, doubt. Yeah, gay people don't hurt children. See, he's got his like, snaggle-toothed Australian buddy here. Oh yeah, the gays don't eat their young. Get it? Because the gay people are pedophiles. You guys get it, right? Yeah.
That's dark, man.
So you don't get to believe in gay animals and evolution at the same time.
Yeah, you do. For starters, I don't believe in these things. It's not a religion. Gay people exist. Gay animals exist. I assure you they're real. And on top of that, evolution is Seemingly also real, considering we've got a whole fossil record, unless he's one of those people who think they're planted by, like, Satanist groups or whatever. That's literally what the religious fundamentalists would say, by the way. As, like, fossil evidence started to become more and more prolific and undeniable, they started claiming that Satanist groups would make the fossils out of, like, paper mache and then plant them for, like, leftist, atheist archaeologists to find, and that it was all a psyop. It's just flat Earth shit. It's the same logic as flat Earth.
You don't get to.
Explain that.
Because evolution is traits.
Yeah.
If they help.
I know. It's gay.
We don't know why people are gay. He knows that, right? Like, we don't have any evidence of a gay gene or, like, a hormone balance that makes people gay. I don't think we've ever been able to determine sexuality via brain scans. It's, whatever it is, literally impossible to determine outside of what is a person's sexual preference, which itself is so at the whim of society. Like, for all we know, the natural state of most beings, most animals, or at least most humans, is that, like, 60% of humans or 40% of humans or something are bi. And there may be way more bi or pan people, as we would say, than we even think. And that's just a societal thing that we've discouraged for, well, because people like this who wear fake Gambeson and, like, do you see the two dudes we're looking at here, surrounded by fantasy novels, swords, in neckbeards, wearing, like, medieval peasant clothing or medieval knight clothing, at a computer talking about how much they hate gay people and about how, like, evolution isn't real. Like, you realize how fucking insane this is, right? Like, how fucking ridiculous these guys are. Like, they need to be shoved into lockers. Have you heard about Shadiversity's rape fantasy book? Yeah, I have. He's also, like, a big proponent of AI art. I think he lost a shitload of his fan base, to be fair, after he became, like, the big AI art guy, where he was, like, super in favor of AI art and died on the hill of it, and a bunch of his friends dropped him because he was in favor of, like, stealing artists' work and stuff. It was all because he didn't want to pay artists for illustrating the covers of his shitty books that don't sell.
Relationships, obviously, right? It doesn't mean it didn't happen, but these are, like, animals that, couldn't get a mate of the opposite gender.
So who's going...
So, imagine saying, well, you can't believe that evolution exists, and then also believe in gay animals because evolution is that traits get passed down because they're good for a thing to exist. That's not what evolution is. Saying that evolution is survival of the fittest is an extreme oversimplification of what it is. Evolution is just the process through which traits are inherited and deherited over time. I guess deherited is a word. This can happen. It happens randomly. It's completely random. Now, usually, over a long enough period of time, organisms are going to end up being culled out of the population if they just can't exist in the environment. If they can make the cut and survive and get by and reproduce, then they will. That is why, to this day, there are birth defects that are genetically carried, cancer and blood diseases and bone diseases and chronic bullshit, like things like all sorts of problems that people deal with that travel through genetics. These problems didn't become non-existent a long time ago because you can still exist and be these things. The same thing goes that, like, there are straight people who have a kid and their kid is gay. And then if that kid perhaps engaged in vitro fertilization and was able to have a kid, that kid might be straight. We've yet to see any evidence that, like, a gay person having a child, or even two gay people having a child, creates a gay kid. If anything, it maybe skips generations, or it's a totally random thing. We don't know. We literally have no clue. We don't know. All we know is that people who are LGBT show signs of it at such a young age that it seems highly unlikely that it's imposed on them by any outlier things, like any outlying factors. Lone thing that comes to mind is some species of hogs have their tusks will grow until they begin to puncture their eye, as an example of a trait that is negative in evolution. Yeah, it's actually a very good example. That the Babirusa has a problem where it's basically a wild hog. Their tusks curve out and they curve back towards their forehead and then start growing into their head until it punctures their skull and eventually gets to their brain and kills them after a while. And it's like a horrible way to go, but it takes so long that even though it's a horrible way to go, it still happens, right? And not to mention, there are tons of other problems that every human and every animal deals with, right? Like, humans talk, drink, and eat and breathe through the same hole. This naturally leads to a lot of problems, such as wrong pipe. Like, you go to drink some water and you accidentally take a little breath, and it goes down the wrong pipe, and you're like... There are animals out there, like dolphins, that don't have that problem. They breathe through specialized holes in their backs, and they drink through their mouths and eat through their mouths. So there's literally no connection there. It's not a problem for them. They literally can't wrong pipe. And they have like a valve, too, to prevent it through the blowhole. The fact is, all life on this planet could be better. And the life on this planet that is the most well-equipped and has the least problems and lives the longest are the things that have gone the longest without any evolutionary changes. Case in point, alligators. Alligators are like the Nokia phone of nature. Like, think of a more hardy fucking creature than the alligator. Not a lot of them, other than, like, deep-sea crustaceans, which themselves tend to go unchanged for, like, trillions of years. Alligators have been around for billions of years, I think. Like, literally, anatomically, modern, basically exactly the same as they are today. Crocodiles and alligators just have been around that long. The horseshoe crab. These are creatures that really don't have much of a problem surviving. And these are creatures who are practically perfect for their environments. They are great evidence of evolution because we can look at previous iterations of alligators, sharks, like crustaceans, like these things that have been around for a very, very long time and have been around unchanged, and see that they didn't survive as well before that, and that they're more modern ancestors who are perfectly accustomed to their environment and haven't evolved in a long time, seemingly because when any new weird changes do come about, they don't tend to lead to as positive of an outcome as how they are now. They basically settled into the perfect place. I don't get why I have to, like, disprove creationism to this guy, but okay.
Going out and molesting all these animals.
And a lot of these animals, right?
What?
They also resort to it as the last option.
Wait.
No. He's literally making this up. Like, literally, he's pulling this out of his ass right now. Like, the bonobos notoriously have gay sex as a way of diffusing anger and disagreements and arguments among their colonies. I can put on a documentary about it right now. He's literally just making this up. Here, actually, I'll literally cite my source. Bonobos gay. Bonobos form a matriarchal society, usually among apes. They are fully bisexual. Both males and females engage in hetero and homosexual behavior, being noted for female-female sex in particular, including between juveniles and adults. Roughly 60% of all bonobo sexual activity occurs between two or more females. Homosexual behavior in animals, live science, being gay is natural, bonobos, lions. Yeah, like, obviously animals are fucked up in other ways. They eat their own young. They even seem to sexually violate their own young. But to try to claim gay bad because it's not natural, well, it is natural. So if you think that gay is bad because of other reasons, explain. He seems to have implied that gay people are predatory towards children, so why not make that argument? We can argue on that claim. Because, like, statistically, gay people are not more likely to be predators to children. In fact, the most likely candidate to be a predator towards a child is a straight white man in this guy's age range to, like, the 50s or 60s. So this guy, statistically, fits the profile for a pedophile and a child sexual abuser way more than a gay guy does, or a trans person. If we're talking about statistics, and I assume this guy would love to cite some race statistics at me.
A lot of animals that resort to homosexual attractions are usually because they can't find a mate of the opposite sex.
Huh.
And so they're like, I can't put it in anything else, so you'll do.
He's literally just making this up right now. Like what I love about conservative content and the conservative viewer base is that they can just make something up off the top of their head that sounds about right, and their audience will be like, that sounds about right. Yeah, animals wouldn't do anything gay unless there was no other choice. I mean, they are animals after all, so they would eventually resort to something. But yeah, sure, sounds about right to me.
So if a squirrel can't find a lady squirrel, he'll find a dude squirrel to bust a nut.
In a lot of cases, right? And I mean, you see...
I hate that this guy, like, has the snaggle teeth he has and still open mouth smiles. He really should learn to smile like this instead.
Dogs are willing to freaking hump anything. Right?
Yeah.
All right?
So if a beaver can't find a lady beaver...
because the point is, a lot of these cases of the homosexual sex...
Dude, this guy's thing is to, like, say something smarmy and wrong and then do his, like, snaggle-toothed, like, grin at the camera. It's like, I don't know how much more of this I can watch, guys. Like, this is actually, like, torturous, and we're only 2.5 minutes in.
The animals aren't entirely because the animals are legitimately gay. There might be some few small instances, right? But sometimes a lot of it is that these animals are super horny and they just needed to bust a nut in something.
Super horny. So if a bull...
They seem to be having a fantastic time talking about horny animals busting a nut in each other.
They're on
heifer, he'll get a buck.
There are cases, right? Okay, but still, like, we're not going to watch much of this, but just like this.
Our planet is home to over 11 million species.
There's more animals than that. Sure.
This is actually brain-numbing. It said over 11 million species, and he said there's more than that, surely. I can't. There's nothing of value here. There's nothing of value or substance. I'm going to skip ahead to see if they say anything else extremely retarded later on.
Because trying to say that, you know, homosexuality should be treated and regarded exactly equivalent as heterosexuality, right? Mm-hmm. Because animals can be gay as well. It's just like, no.
Once again, the argument that animals can be gay is only brought up by anybody pro-gay or on the left because for so long the right argued being gay is unnatural and that's why it's wrong. So naturally, the debunk to that is now what's happening, but the goalpost has moved. Now it's, oh, you've responded to my past argument? Well, now DreamWorks face, I made you compare being gay to animals. Like, okay, sure.
Animals will murder, they will eat their own kind, they will eat their own young. No! The fact that humans...
Yes, no one is saying being gay is good because animals are doing it. It is an argument against the claim that being gay is bad because it's unnatural.
Are able to rise above base animal instinct.
Mind you, the argument for being gay, being fine, isn't even that it's natural, for the record. The argument that being gay is natural isn't an argument for being gay, it's an argument against the claim that it is unnatural, and that makes it wrong. The argument for why you should, like, accept gay people is that, like, empathy is good, gay people aren't hurting anybody by existing, and making a career off of talking about how they're, like, the fall of Western civilization makes you, like, kind of a cucked retard bitch.
Is what sets us apart of every other animal species on Earth.
Yeah.
Critical thinking, understanding moral complexity, okay? Actually comprehending good and evil is what sets humans apart. And that's why we can see certain behaviors in the animal kingdom and say, if we were to do it, that would be wrong, right? Like infanticide. Is that infanticide? Infanticide, right? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this video is, once he started talking about how animals only engage in homosexuality because they can't fuck anything else, and he just kind of, like, threw that out there off the top of his head, I was like, all right, yeah, this guy's... We're not getting anything of substance out of this motherfucker. Certainly not. Jesus Christ. I have never been more happy to see a channel fall off. Man, the comments are ratioing. If you keep punching that straw man, it will break in half, bro. The fact that human parents don't eat their children is how a majority of toddlers make it to school age. Exceptions don't invalidate the rule. Hey, do you want to hear a play-by-play of my wife and I conceiving our kids? Question mark. I don't know what that's referencing. It is in most cases anthropomorphism, projecting human behavior onto animals. So many wrong/jokes with this. Is this why animals are going extinct? So then eating meat is fine because animals do it? 3, sir, why did you kill that man? Lions do it. So they're actually, like, there's people calling it out, but the conservatives in the replies are actually going to try to go the route of saying, ah, yes, the right never claimed being gay is bad because it's unnatural. The left just came out of nowhere and started saying, see, our argument for why being gay is okay is that animals do it. All right, I get the goalpost moving. Listen, nobody who isn't already a hater of gay people is buying this shit. This video is obviously a massive failure at achieving what it tried to do. It's 2 weeks old and has 12K views, but Love seeing Shadiversity fall off. And if you like it too, consider dropping a like on this video. It really helps a lot. Every single thumbs up, no matter when, where, or what you're watching, really does go a long way and helps the channel a whole bunch, as do comments down below, which I really appreciate as well. So comment and like if you want to help boost the channel. It really helps a lot. And consider also subscribing and ringing the bell icon if you haven't already, so YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload anything new. And of course, follow my social medias, which are linked down below in the description as well, if you're watching this on YouTube, and you'll be able to find all my other platforms that I post on if you want to see more from me. And my fan Discord, which is totally free to join, and I highly recommend you do join, because it's the main hub of my fan base. I actually host events in there, like gaming events, call-in streams, and movie nights. I also announce all my new uploads and streams there too, so if you don't want to miss anything, that's the best place to be. And finally, if you want to support me directly and you've got the money for it, please consider doing so by donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhal.com/live, or supporting me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buying merch to the Streamlabs link down below in the description as well. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.